Texas Business Radio. Seriously smart business.
Welcome back to the show. Texas Business Radio, texasbusinessradio.com. You can go see links to all our guests, see the entire show in beautiful high-definition video. Get your calls in. 844-814-8144 is our 24-hour call-in line. Get your calls in. We'll get the experts in here to get those questions answered. If you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know that there are some really smart guys that come into Texas. Some of them are even from Texas, but come into Texas, talk to CEOs, have solutions for their problems. We love to have these guys on the show because they have a wealth of information to share with you and give you some tricks to grow your business, grow your organization. And we love those guys. This is a National Advisor Showcase segment, just like we do every month. I'm your host, Matt Register. Jay Curry's the one sitting over there in the co-host chair. What do you think, man?
I'm going to enjoy this. This is tricky, and this is important, and this takes some expertise. I mean, this is not an easy one. But people need to be listening. If you're a business owner, you're a CEO, you have a business, you need to listen to what Rob's got to say.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We're talking about leadership, we're talking about communication, and we're talking about building cohesive teams. Dr. Rob Pennington is the founder of Resource International, which is a consulting company that comes in, helps your team leaders, gives them some leadership training, gets them trained up where they can have a lot more productive teams. Rob, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Wonderful to be here, Jay, Matt. Thank you.
So talk to me a little bit about Resource International. What do you do? Who do you do it to?
We've been in business about 40 years, and we do professional speaking, training, coaching. But mainly what we work with is executives and their teams and helping them improve the way they make decisions and how they communicate in a way to improve their performance. It's a challenge because there's always disagreements in teams wherever you are. And in our opinion, it's the leader's job to facilitate that disagreement, to actually bring it out. And most leaders do not have the skill at that. In fact, they tend to want to sabotage there being disagreement.
It's almost like they're scared of it.
Yeah.
But the reality is you need that discussion, that disagreement, that debate, if you would.
And we don't know how to do that. And mostly when you have a team and they start to talk, you see quickly who the majority and minority is. And if majority thinks, well, now we must be more right, so they try to convince the minority. We have a model called the team decision flow chart, which says, no, you focus on the minority first. Have them restate their position, have the majority restate their position, and see if there's any misunderstandings. What are the chances there's misunderstanding?
Yeah, 80, 90%.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But in the middle, we have this hair trigger reaction of I'm right, they're wrong, and therefore my job is to help them
convince them to understand why you're right.
And
right?
what percent of the time are they grateful? Zero.
No. Yeah.
And that eats at people when they're not even in the team meeting. They think about it when they're in the car. They think about it with other people. They complain to others, and it sabotages the leadership's performance. And their own success is based on these ideas, and most engineering, scientific types who've gotten to that position because of their expertise haven't been able to get these extra skills.
Well, and in reality, that's the root of the issue, right? I mean, because a lot of these younger leaders, right, the lower level leaders, team leaders and division heads have not been given the leadership training required to do their job, right? They're very good at whatever it is they do, right? They've been promoted to now a leader of a team of those guys and don't have the skills necessary. And this is where you guys come in to impart some of those skills, right?
Well, not only that, but to help the company save some money, because oftentimes when they're not able to perform well, it does cost money. There's errors that are made, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars, because two executives or people within a team hold off information, aren't helpful to each other, don't really know how to balance authority and collaboration, and it costs money. Sometimes people leave who are high potentials, who have a lot of industry knowledge, because they just didn't feel respected by their boss.
It's funny that some, especially in larger companies, there are a lot of dumb things that go on in that organization because of things exactly like that. I will never forget, as a owner of a machine shop, I bought parts from a company and sold it to another division of that company, and I can do that and mark it up cheaper than they can sell it to each other because they didn't like each other.
Yes,
crazy.
That's nuts.
Yes.
At some point, there's some level in that organization that would have a problem with that.
Well,
right?
often the problem of competition is not between the company and another company. It's between different components within the organization.
Sure.
And so we have a process of cross-functional integration where how you actually deal with those differences of opinion. Like you and I are responsible for different functions. If we can't work something out, we just tend to stay stuck in our conflict. Where if, Matt, you're our boss, we should be able to go to you and I should say what your point of view is to your satisfaction. And you should be able to say to Matt what my point of view is to my satisfaction. So he knows we did our due diligence and we've got to a place where we can't work it out because of maybe he gave us different instructions.
Well, and that point, it's a business decision to be made, not an interpersonal decision to be made, correct?
But it becomes an interpersonal one so quickly. And part of that's because 95% of us grew up in a family where when there was a conflict, we did not end up closer. So we don't go to the workplace with good conflict resolution skills. And you're always going to have conflict. If you're going to have the best decision, like you were saying early on, you've got to facilitate disagreement. And most leaders don't know how to do that. And that's what we help people do in a very simple, fun, entertaining way.
So talk to me about how you actually go about doing this, right? I mean, you come in and do seminars, you come in and do coaching. How do you go ahead and get these skills into an organization?
Well, first we have to do some assessment. What we have to offer may not be exactly what they need. And sometimes we've referred them to another resource. But if it is because of our assessment, and usually that's some interviews, some surveys, sometimes we actually do some assessments like the Berkman or something to give us a sense of where the team is in terms of its strengths and blind spots. And then that gives us where we can focus best use of our resources, which is either training and coaching. We want to try and combine those, and also sitting in on teams and facilitating the real work. So sometimes we need to just step in and say, well, wait a minute, what was that person saying? And when we've done the training, then we've got standing to have that kind of moment of facilitation. Because when they have the experience of the change, that's when it really makes a difference.
Yeah, well, and we were talking during the break, and one of the interesting things I found is you are looking at this as a risk management operation, not so because the cost of messing this up is huge.
If you lose a VP and you've got to hire another one, you've got to pay a staffing agency 30% of their salary, which could be hundreds of thousands of dollars just on that alone. And so keeping high quality people engaged and committed, I think it's a challenge for every leader. And knowing how to work with them in a way that makes this the place they want to be, even if someone is hitting, if they're really good, there are people hitting on them. They're being offered other jobs at more money. Why should they stay with you? The main reason is how they treated.
Well, and beyond just the retention piece is big, right? But beyond that, if I'm in the business of hiring very smart people, I want all of their brain power working on solving a business problem. I don't want some people not talking because they're afraid of conflict.
Yes.
That does me no good to have all that brain power in the same room, right?
And the person who's has that apprehension about conflict doesn't think they have the apprehension about conflict. What they think is that other person's a horrible person.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that a lot of this is analytical. So I'm an analytical person. And you get into, I've got the right solution. I know what the answer is. I've studied it. You don't get into what's going on people-wise, what's going on relationship-wise, what's going on. So you drive your answer without really listening and understanding what the other guys.
Even if that's your strength and your ability to do that, there's a book called The 30 Management Principles of the U.S. Marines. And one of the principles is decide and invite dissent. So you can certainly come in and say, hey, we're going to do this, but you need to add to that, what are the risks? What are the challenges?
Why is this a bad idea?
Yeah.
Right?
And that is a key word for leaders to use, risk. Because when you ask someone, what are the risks of what I'm wanting to do, they're more likely to tell you than if you say, do you agree or disagree? They're more likely to tell you they disagree. But you've given them permission when you say the risk. And the same thing is true if you're confronting an authority. Telling them they're wrong may not be something that gets their attention, but saying, here's a risk I am concerned about, that opens up a place in their brain. So using risk both ways is real powerful.
Well, and at the end of the day, leaders aren't paid to make decisions with perfect information, right? I mean, they're paid to make decisions with imperfect information and
the best one they can. Yeah.
And the market votes, right? I mean, sometimes
right.
it doesn't go your way.
We
right?
all need as much help as possible.
Got it. What's the easiest way for somebody to learn more? Should somebody want to learn more?
Resource-i.com.
Resource-i.com is the website. We're going to have it linked right there from TexasBusinessRadio.com.
And we've got lots of video testimonials on the website from leaders we've worked with, so that's a good place for people to check us out.
Yeah, and I tell you what, guys, if you are running a company and you are not getting the most out of your teams, if you are promoting, technical people that don't have leadership training, this is not a bad idea, because this is something I see lacking across the business community as a whole. We're talking to Dr. Rob Pennington, is an educational psychologist and partner at Resource International. Thank you very much, Rob, for joining us.
Wonderful. Wow, what a fast 10 minutes.
Fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, we're at a hard break. We do have to take a break and pay some of our own bills. We're going to be right back on the other side of the break with a whole lot more Texas Business Radio. Don't go anywhere.
There's much more where that came from
at TexasBusinessRadio.com.